Welcome back to Kingdom Huddle. My name is Gita Wilma Parker. Thank you so much for tuning in. Listen, on Kingdom Huddle, as a reminder, the goal is to equip and inform the body of believers and also to strategize. There's a lot going on. And for me, as I consider myself as a servant leader, I take that very serious. So not only serving the body of believers, but also leading them in times where leadership may be absent. Well, God has charged me with the call to action, unity of purpose. And we actually had our first meeting, our gathering. And at that meeting, I just laid out just pretty much the basics of what God has given me and what the plans are moving forward. So just to give an announcement for those who were at the gathering, we will be meeting the first Saturday of each month at 1 p.m. The locations may change, but it's always going to be, unless something happens, because things can happen, it's life, but unless something happens. But outside of that, it will be the first Saturday of each month until the end of the year, until December. And each month, we're tackling different topics. We're tackling different life skills. And the goal is for us to equip ourselves with life skills that are necessary. Hopefully, if we learn these skills, then we can save a little bit more money and be smarter with our resources. So this in May the 3rd will be our next gathering, and it will be at 1 p.m. and we will be tackling the financial issue, because that's the headline with the stock market and all the crises and different things that are happening, and prices are all over the place. So we will be tackling financial literacy. And I actually have a wonderful lady, a wonderful speaker, Miss Joyce. She will be coming in and teaching us and also answering certain questions we may have in regards to our retirement plan, in regards to savings, and in regards to how can we benefit from this stock market that's going all over the place. So it's not just the rich that are getting richer, but all of us are figuring out how best we can actually take part in the investment aspect. So it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a workshop. So you're coming for hands-on experience and learning, and come with your questions and everything. But definitely mark your calendar. This is free to the public, but I will need a head count just so we know how to prepare, how much information she will need to bring to be able to hand out to people. So please make sure you go to Kingdom Huddle at outlook.com and just say, hey, I heard about the financial literacy workshop. I want to be a part. Include me in that. And also, like I stated, I will be doing a newsletter. The newsletter will be coming out in a few weeks. For those who have already submitted their email addresses to me saying that they were interested in it, I will be sending out those newsletters in a few weeks. So keep an eye on your email. So that's the gist of the announcements for right now. But I want to today, there's so much going on that's just bothering my spirit. I can't lie, it's just bothering my spirit. Every time I see certain things and hear certain things and compare it in regards to the word of God, compare it in regards to our Constitution, compare it on the things that we as Americans say that we stand for, it ain't matching up. The fruit ain't fruiting. It ain't matching up. The news is busy talking about tariffs. Tariffs are important because, yes, we're seeing that it will impact our lives. But I wish the news would stop only focusing on that and focus on the bigger picture of what's really happening. I wish our representatives would stop just sitting back and acting as if they don't know what's happening. Because everything has been happening in plain sight. Everything has been announced for all of us for years, through different speech books, different podcasts, and just different outlets that's been telling us, listen, this is what certain people are planning. This is how they're planning on doing it. So today, I just want to take a moment and just re-educate some of us, or educate some of us, on what's really happening in society and why it's so urgent that we unite and stand up to power. One thing that I want us to consider is, let's think about the history of America. Why was America started? America was started in search of freedom, freedom from the British, because they felt like they were being oppressed by these rulers, that they're religious, they were being persecuted religiously, and there was a lot of economic restrictions that they felt. So they decided that, listen, we want to build a society based on democracy. Based on democracy. And what is democracy? Where the people had a say in how they were governed. That's what America was formed, because they no longer wanted to be under a monarchy, a king, but they wanted to be under democracy. So the idea was that government should protect people's rights and to be based on the consent of the governed, of the people. Once again, democracy in a nutshell is about the participation in the decision making by the people, not just by an elite few or just from one individual. That's what democracy is about. And when we met our face-to-face meeting, I indicated that during the election time, I constantly heard this statement that democracy is on the ballot. Democracy is on the ballot. And I honestly didn't quite understand what that meant. But now I understand exactly what that meant. Democracy truly was on the ballot. And democracy is the thing that many people that are now in power, in leadership, are actively destroying. Since America has been formed, America to other nations have been known as the liberator, has been known as the one that wants to promote democracy everywhere, that everybody should allow their citizens the freedom and the right to speak and choose and live how they want to. So why now are so many Americans okay with democracy being destroyed? Why are you okay? Why are you sitting on your hand? And now the people who were known, we branded ourselves, Americans branded themselves as being the liberators, the one that fought for freedom, the one that fought for democracy. Now we're okay with people stripping us of our freedom. Now we're okay with democracy being completely destroyed. We were the beacon. We were the ones that people looked to. And now we are acting like the same people that we claim we were trying to liberate. It makes no sense to me. You know, I said it before in previous videos that if we do not learn from history, we are doomed to repeat history. But not only just repeating history, we are going to be repeating the worst parts of history, the worst parts of us. And this is what I'm telling you that bothering my spirit when I see it. I see the schemes of the enemy. I see the deception. One thing that I've noticed, I've been noticing it for a while, but I've really noticed it in the past few years, is this blind loyalty. That if I'm a Republican and I voted for our current administration, that they do no wrong, I speak nothing against them. I don't stand up against them in any way, even though I know that what they're doing, I would not have been okay with them, with somebody else from a different party or a different race or a different gender. If they had done that, do what's currently happening, I wouldn't have been okay with it. But now, because it's somebody that I actually like, I'm okay with turning a blind eye and giving them full permission to do whatever without any checks and balances. If you call yourself a kingdom citizen, you should not be okay with that. Nobody deserves your blind loyalty. You should check everything. Everybody should have some accountability put in place. If we all as citizens have to be accountable, why not our leaders who are supposed to be over us? They are not being held accountable right now, and we have to say the truth as it is. I was watching this interview of this gentleman, and he made a statement that stuck out to me. He said, no one is immune from acting in inhumane ways. No one is immune from acting in inhumane ways. Pretty much what that means is that there are a lot of us, there are certain things that us as individuals would not participate in, would not agree with, would not cheer. But when we get in a crowd of people who are acting a certain way, it's easy for people to conform to what that crowd is doing. That's why cults are easy. People find themselves in cults, and it's like, how did I get here? Because they allow the opinion, the whatever you want to call the spirit of that group to infiltrate their heart and their mind, where they're no longer processing and thinking about things logically on their own. They knew that's something that, okay, something's wrong here. But when you're in an environment that's telling you, go, do it. These are the enemies. This is what you need to do. You start conforming. You start conforming and believing. So let me be very clear about something, because a lot of people in our society want to tiptoe around this issue and act as if it's not real. It is very much real. Racism is what I'm referring to. Racism is a real thing, and it's been around for centuries. Racism really is what led to the Holocaust. Racism is what led to the Holocaust. One group feeling like they were better than another group and decided that because we're better, we want to completely eliminate you from the earth. And that led to 6 million innocent people being slaughtered. And people who normally would not have gone along with it or took part in it, they were acting in inhumane ways because they were part of a group that they stopped thinking for themselves. So going back to racism, a lot of people like to make racism a black issue or make racism a white issue. Racism is a human issue that we have to deal with. We have to face it. We can't stick our head in the sand and act as if, oh no, that was back then. It's still happening. It's been happening from the beginning of time, and it's still happening. You know, I love a statement by Martin Luther King Jr. He said that injustice anywhere is a loss. It is a loss of justice everywhere. Injustice anywhere is a loss of justice everywhere. As kingdom citizens, I am charging us to not be those individuals that rejoice in the suffering of other people, or just turn a blind eye because it's not happening to you or people you care about. We have to be the people, the salt of the earth, the light of this world, that will be the people to stand up, and what affects you affects me. What causes you pain will cause pain to me as well. I don't have to personally go through what you're going through for me to feel your pain and want to help you. That's what the kingdom citizen about. And I feel like a lot of people made decisions on who they want to empower based on how much it was going to impact their life. They ignored all the other signs and all the other statements in regards to other people, other groups of people, because that's not my issue. That doesn't pertain to me. We as Americans, it's very hard for us to vote against our own interests. It's very hard. But when you're a kingdom citizen, you have to be able to put the needs of others, like the Bible said, above yourself. Love your neighbors, love the Lord. And right now, there's a deficit of love in our nation. There's a deficit of love in this world. And the word of God said that God is going to come back, and he's going to know that we belong to him by how we love. There's too many people who are quick to talk about what they're against, what they can't stand. But it's very few of those people who will turn around and say, this is what I'm for. There are people who are walking around with the title of Christian that's really, really upsetting me, because you are not a Christian. Your fruit don't match up. You're misleading people, and you're using the banner of Christian to do a whole lot of horrible things, and you need to be called out. There are things that are happening in this world, and as on Kingdom Huddle, my goal once again is to empower you and to equip you with knowledge. That's the best way that I can empower you, is with knowledge. There's certain things that are happening, And I need you to understand the implication of these things. I need you to understand that this is not a joke. I need you to understand that we are operating, our leaders and people in power are operating based on a playbook that's evil. A playbook that caused 6 million people to lose their lives, innocent people. So I want for a moment to examine the playbook, to examine the truth that's been in plain sight, that some people find it hard to come grips with the fact that, yeah, you might have voted for this, but this is really what's happening. Do you care, and what are you going to do? So for a moment, I want us to look at Hitler. I said it, Hitler, for a moment, to show how closely we are copying his playbook. Stay tuned. And I want to give a disclaimer. I am not a Republican. I am not a Democrat. I am a citizen of the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. And I am a servant leader. And it's my job to lead people in truth and lead people to the one who is truth. So a lot of this thing that I'm saying is not based on my opinion. You can do your own research and find the same thing as well. That I'm not lying to you or trying to mislead you in any way. Please check behind me. But I want you to stay tuned and really allow this to penetrate your heart. And after this video, if you feel offended by what I'm saying, go to the Lord in prayer and ask why you feel so offended. Hitler's rise to power involved significant centralization of authority and the dismantling of democratic checks and balances. After becoming chancellor in 1933, Hitler moved swiftly to consolidate his power, abolishing democratic institutions, universities, different things like that, silencing political opposition, and using propaganda to shape public opinion. There's a lot that I'm going to break down and I'm going to discuss later on. This is the same playbook that we're playing with right now. Hitler's reign aimed to control all aspects of German life, including the bureaucracy, the local system, and media. He used organizations like the SS and the Gestapo, which was like his own personal police force, to enforce loyalty and suppress dissension. And he manipulated public institutions to serve Nazi interests, they purged those who they've seen as threats to them. Not because they were actual threat, but because they didn't bow down and agree to everything that they told them. So they went ahead and threatened them, killed them, did whatever they wanted to do to get rid of them. Hitler sought not only to control politics, but to enforce a vision of German society, including the enforcement of Nazi ideology and the persecution of those who did not conform. I'm going to hit on that later. The regime spread propaganda through media, through education and culture to create a uniform national identity based on racist and nationalist ideas. We're seeing this happen even now. I'm going to go into more detail, but I'm giving you the information. And once again, this is information that you can search out for yourself. I'm just the average citizen who did my research, and this is the information that's out for the public, at least for now, until it starts being altered. Hitler and the Nazi brutally suppressed political opposition, including communists, socialists, and anyone who posed a threat to Nazi ideology. The Nazi used violence, imprisonment, and terror to eliminate opposition, including the infamous Night of the Long Knives, where political rivals were murdered. Sounds like something that, oh, Americans would never do. Well, we're actually in the process of doing some of these things. We're actually in the process of doing some of these things. And it just makes me so angry that people are turning a blind eye to it because it's a political party that they've been affiliated with all their lives, because it's somebody that they think is trustworthy. Open up your eyes to see what's happening. Everything is strategic, okay? This is a quote from Hitler, from his book that he wrote when he was in prison. It says, "The most brilliant propaganda is that which reaches the masses and stirs their emotions, not their reason." So in this quote, Hitler discussed the role of propaganda in controlling public opinion, emphasizing that emotional appeal is far more effective than logical reasoning. The Nazi used propaganda to spread their idea and manipulate the German population, often by creating fear and threats towards Jews, communists, and other groups. We are living in propaganda times. We are living in this time where we have so much falsehood that's geared to move our emotions, that's clickbait, but there's no truth in it. When you sit back and really examine what's happening, what they're saying, what they say they were going to do, you'll realize, wait a minute, this don't add up. This don't line up. There's something not quite right. And that's what I want this video to stir within you, to understand there's something not quite right. Another quote from his book says, "The leader of the movement must be a supreme authority, unchallenged and absolute in power. The will of the leader becomes the will of the people." Does that sound familiar? It's not by coincidence that most of our elected officials are acting like they're just sitting on their hands and letting things happen. It's not by coincidence. There are elected leaders who, if they go against the current regime, they're receiving death threats. They're trying to figure out how they can silence their voice. They're trying to put out lies and propaganda out there about them. And then there are other ones that they're sitting on their hands on purpose, because it's just like, we want a monarchy. We want a dictator. We're okay with democracy being destroyed, because as long as our pockets are laced, we're good. Long as we're getting the better end of the stick, we're good. It's not by coincidence that we elect them to be our voice, and then they choose to say nothing and do nothing. I need you to wake up. So that was a history back then. Make sure you pay attention to the language and the different things that I stated earlier, because we have a new breed of people who, I wouldn't say they're new, but a breed of people who are very bold now. They're emboldened, and they're stating the same or similar language that was stated back then, that, once again, I keep reminding you, that caused 6 million innocent people to be slaughtered. The same playbook is now branded in a different word. It's branded through what seems like the new trend and the new, oh yes, this is what we need to do, the new way of thinking. There's nothing new about it. It was evil back then, it's evil now. The network state. Have you ever heard of that term? The network state. Well, the network state is an idea advanced by the big tech thought leaders like Curtis Yarvin. If you don't know him, read about him, study him, look at some of his interview, because that's the person that most of our leaders are quoting and following to the T. They're following his literature to the T. They see him as a new age thinker, and that, oh, he's so enlightened, and oh yeah, we should do it. They are following it to the T. And he is good friends with our Vice President, Vance. So, like I said, it's the Curtis Yarvin and his billionaire buddies, like Thiel, Peter Thiel. That's another one that you really need to look out for. Peter Thiel, Marc Andreessen, and of course, Elon Musk. Elon Musk is more out there compared to the other ones, but they're all very much on the same page. So the tech CEOs pretty much are taking advantage of the collapse of the national state and democracy in favor of establishing a corporate CEO ran dictatorship. So they would rather destroy democracy and replace it with a corporate CEO ran dictator, either by gutting and replacing existing government or purchasing a sovereign territory. So let me go back for a moment and explain to you just a little bit history on Curtis Yarvin. Curtis Yarvin, he is a software engineer. So all of these people are from the tech world, from Silicon Valley. He outlined a lot of these ideas for getting rid of democracy in favor of a corporate monarchy or dictator. Yarvin's idea is that America have to get over, get this statement from him. He said Americans need to get over their dictator phobia. Americans need to get over their dictator phobia, he said, and the way that we do this is by installing a CEO to be like a shadow president, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, and to destroy American government from within through something he calls rage. He entitled it Rage, but listen to how closely this aligns with Project 2025 and what currently has already happened. What does Rage stand for, according to Curtis Yarvin? Because it's something that he coined. Rage stands for Retire All Government Employees. And that's exactly what Doge has done. Retire all government employees. I like how they like to phrase Doge as the Department of Government Efficiency is what they want to promote. Oh, we want to tackle all this fraud and waste and do all this other stuff. I heard this guy, his name is Gail. I can't remember his last name, but I love how he actually broke it down. He said Doge really stands for Destruction of Government by Elon. That's really what it's about. They are following the playbook of Elon Musk. Can you imagine? They believe that we should get over our dictator phobia. We, the ones who are known as liberators from those who are under the control of a dictator. We, the ones that have seen what dictators have done to their citizens. We need to get over our dictator phobia. Whew. These guys view reality through their own lens of tech, wealth, and power. They claim that things work better under a monarchy. So in 2022, Yarvin came up with the blueprint that we're actually implementing and living through right now. But in 2022, he came up with a blueprint that is currently being followed, which is called the Butterfly Revolution. The Butterfly Revolution. The basic plan would be install a CEO style dictator while keeping Trump as the figurehead. He's just there just to have a title, but he has no say in anything. The shadow president. That's why people kept saying Elon Musk is the true president. You're right. Peter Thiel, along with so many other them, they are the true president. Trump, that's why it doesn't bother Trump that he can just go golfing every weekend. He can just say whatever. He can do whatever. And he didn't even know that the 4 American soldiers was murdered because he's not even doing any briefings or nothing. He's just there. This is the playbook. Okay, so first thing is install a CEO-style dictator while keeping Trump as the figurehead. Then purge career government employees which is called RAGE, which I just stated, retire all government employees, in order to weaken these systems and get rid of any people who are loyal to democracy. And once you do that, replace those people with loyal ninja, is what he referred to them as, who would answer to the CEO dictator, not to the democratic process or to Congress. That's why Elon don't show up for any of those hearings. And you know, none of those people who really are running the country are showing up to this hearing because they don't care. They don't care. They want to break the system. Then start centralizing executive power under the executive branch, rebooting the courts by refusing to go along with the laws, challenging every aspect of the current system in order to break it. That's why the administration did not listen to the court system when they told them to return those American citizens who were wrongly arrested, to turn them back instead of taking them to El Salvador. But they didn't listen to the court order because they're trying to break the system. Then it says bypass congressional oversight. Then use this new centralized power to start seizing the other centers of power in society, such as media power, academia, and so on, establishing complete control over the information sphere. Why are they trying to do that? Because in order to ensure that they have a lasting power, that their power lasts, they have to control the information that's being put out there. This is very serious, people. This is the playbook that they're going after. This is what's happening. Why it seemed like, oh, Trump just doesn't listen to anything. Oh, they just doing what they want. Oh, they're just getting away with it, because they have a cult mentality that we gonna do whatever we want to do, and you better not check us. If you are a part of us, you better be quiet and go along with everything we say, or else. We are in dangerous territory when we think we have elected people for law and order who don't follow law and order. They just want to enforce it on whoever they feel is a threat to them. Wake up, people. Did you really vote for this? Is this really what you voted for? Every time I watch the news, it appears that our country, America, is in chaos. There's so many chaotic stuff going on. And when Elon and his goons went and busted into the departments and fired people and took control of our systems and all these different things, oh my God, this seems so chaotic. It's not chaotic. It's strategic. It's strategic. And these individuals of the mindset of Elon and all his goons and Trump and all his people, they have been talking about this for a while. They have written about this for a while. They have podcasts that's dedicated to this for a while. This is not by accident. So if you are sitting out there thinking like, oh, I didn't vote for this, I didn't know any of this was going to happen, where have you been? Where have you been when other of us was trying to warn you that, listen, these people are trying to kill democracy. They're trying to kill certain things that we know are right, and things that we as a community, as a nation, have agreed upon. Our rights and our freedom are being ripped from us. But you were okay with that. So this is not a beat you down session, but I want you to take ownership of what you've done. So they are trying to do as much damage as they can, as quickly as possible, because that is the key to staying in power. The Democratic Party and mainstream media are largely silent about everything that I've just stated, is because many of them are a part of the issue. Many of them are following along because it benefits them. Many of them are scared to speak up. Many of them have bowed their knee and kissed the ring. Project 2025 and Yarvin ideology, they meet very nicely together because they're meant to match up. So let me tell you about something that happened in September of last year. In September of last year, there was this big conference that happened in San Francisco. And the title of the conference was Reboot. Reboot. Reboot is actually came from a speech that Yarvin did in 2012 that was entitled Reboot. And where he called for the destruction of the federal government. Like I said, these are not something that just happened overnight. These guys have been planning, strategizing, and scheming for many years. So Reboot was a conference between Silicon Valley Techs and the Heritage Foundation. As we know, the Heritage Foundation are the people who are over Project 2025. Okay? So Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, and Mega, and so many others, they all went to this conference and they focused on, yes, those groups may have some differences. But what they did at that conference was they decided to focus on their what they had in common. So which was, one, to destroy the government, to shrink it back, or to privatize the government. And in the rights for certain groups of people, like people of color, like women, like immigrants, and whoever else was the target person of the time. So that was what they had in common, is that, listen, we want to get rid of all these other people because they're not like us, and they're the enemies, and they've demonized people of color. They've demonized women who are empowered and working, and they want the tread wife to be the thing where men are out dominating women and women are at home just taking care of babies and being barefoot and pregnant. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm an at-home mom, and I've been an at-home mom for many years, but the mindset is rulership, domination, and oppression. And of course, immigrants, which is something that a lot of us see happening, and a lot of us unfortunately are okay with it happening to immigrants, as long as it don't happen to us. But it will happen to a certain amount of us. All of our lives are going to be altered in some way. So what they shared in common is a desire to set hierarchy in the world. And this is the kind of hierarchy they want, the kind of structure that they want. Men must be at the top. And let me rephrase that. White men must always be at the top. And let me rephrase that even more. Wealthy white men are the ones that should be the top dogs, making all the rules, making all the, being in full control, having no checks and balance. No one should check them. No one should do anything. We should just follow along with what wealthy white men say. That's what they believe in. Yarvin and so many of all these other guys in the Silicon Valley world, they're atheists. They don't believe in God. And a lot of these tech guys don't believe in God, but unfortunately right now these tech guys are what's ruling a nation that's supposed to be under God. We never, I don't feel like, truly lived up to that, but we're now being ruled by people who are obviously not trying to be in fellowship with God, don't know God, nothing. People who believe that they themselves are God, or that AI is God and they can create God through AI, which is they're in the process of doing now in certain things. So we are in a situation that's very dangerous and scary. It's time for us to wake up. It's time for us to, first of all, educate ourselves. Because what's going to start happening is information is going to be so distorted that Google is going to be altered, that the things that you Google may not even be accurate, because it's going to be altered and controlled by those who are in control. I'm pleading with you. And I'm going to continue throughout this video. This video might be a little bit longer, but it's necessary, the information that I'm giving. So please stay tuned until the very end. I can always tell somebody who isn't a true kingdom citizen, because they will always try to polarize the public opinion against across a range of issues using the scapegoat tactic. They always use the scapegoat tactic, which is very similar to Hitler in regards to the Jews. The Jews were the scapegoat. Every bad thing in the world was because of the Jews. The reason why their lives were so bad, the German people's lives were so bad, was because of the Jews. They never took ownership of anything, and they always felt threatened or used the Jews as a scapegoat. Same thing that we see here. Everything that possibly can go wrong, even if it's not actually wrong, or even if it's even better than it's ever been, it's not going to be acknowledged. They are going to fault it on the Democratic government. They are going to fault woke. I kept hearing woke, or DEI. What can I do as a scapegoat? And people believe that nonsense. DEI, by the way, stands for diversity, equity, inclusion. I don't know what area that they had an issue with that, but they don't have an issue. DEI hasn't gone away under this administration as much as they say it's gone away. DEI is still in place. But this time, DEI stands for didn't earn it. Long as you're loyal to me and my agenda and you're a certain color, you can come on in. DEI is still in place. Didn't earn it are still in place. So we have no choice but to throw out the way that they make it seem is that, oh, the Democratic government is not working because of woke, because of DEI. So guess what? We just got to throw out this whole progressive movement and this democratic thought because it's not working anyways. It's ruining everything for our people, you know, so replace them with people who are approved through tech. So if they're white and they're from tech and they have wealth and they're men, replace the rest of the people. Even if they really didn't earn it, they really don't know what they're doing. They're just messing things up. Wealthy men who are allowed to do anything they want to do. I'm so amazed by Americans that, oh, I have an issue with immigrants and the immigrants and the immigrants and the da-da-da-da. But you have an African man who is ruling our system. An African man who receives, I believe, is $38 billion from the government in different contracts and subsidies and different things like that, who is not checked at all. An African man is really our president right now. So let me continue. J.D. Vance. When J.D. Vance, and I said this in our meeting, when J.D. Vance first came onto the political stage in a big way, everybody was surprised at why would Trump pick him, someone who called him the modern day Hitler. Someone who called him the modern day Hitler. Why would he choose him? That don't make no sense. Who is J.D. Vance? Because I was the same, but like, what? Who? Why would you? What? That don't make no sense. But let me tell you a little bit about J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is really the creation of Peter Thiel, the one that I mentioned earlier. Peter Thiel happened to be a billionaire as well, and he was one of the major donors along with Elon Musk, who donated to Trump. Elon Musk on record has given $300 million to Trump, his running. Peter Thiel is probably at that level or even more in regards to his donation to Trump. So Vance, he wrote a book many years ago, and he wrote that book when he was actually working for Peter Thiel in San Francisco. And he has been on he's been on Peter Thiel's payroll for a long time now. I'm talking about J.D. Vance has been on Peter Thiel's payroll for a long time now. Peter Thiel was the reason how or why J.D. Vance got into the Senate. He helped to pay for everything for J.D. Vance to get in there. He also was the main reason why Vance became the vice president, because he helped to repair the relationship between Trump and Vance and convince Trump to allow him to run with him. That's how J.D. Vance got in the picture. So the reason why that was important to Peter Thiel is because J.D. Vance had been pretty much his little puppet, his little whatever you want to call it, for many years. So now it was a power move for Peter Thiel. It was a power move for him. So now all the guys in Tech Valley are like excited because JD Vance is there. That's their door. That's their opening to be able to have full access to whatever it is that they want to do to run this country. So Trump ended up putting him on the ticket. And one thing, like I said, it surprised me with Trump is because Trump, he don't let go of things easily. So it had to be something to benefit him for him to put Vance on the ticket. I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound judgmental, but I want you to hear me out. The Bible tells us to examine someone, test their spirit, examine the fruit that they're producing in their life. And the fruits that the fruit that the Bible talks about is love, joy, peace, and all those, you know the list of the fruit of the spirit. Trump don't have the fruit of the spirit. What I see in him, and that's why he's okay with, and people are like, why is Trump okay with Elon, them doing all this stuff? Because the spirit that he operates under is selfishness, is narcissism, is ego, is money. So these guys, these tech guys, Elon and all those other people, are able to feed into that spirit. So that's why he's okay with them doing whatever they want to do unchecked, and he can just go golfing every weekend. Because if you can make me look like I'm a tough guy and I am in control, and you're feeding into my spirit that's not the spirit of God, that's about greed, then yeah, go ahead and do what you want to do. I'll open the door wide open for you. That's what's happening. What I find very disappointing is that, like I said, the things that I've already listed so far is that it hasn't been secret. Our other leaders have known of these plans. I'm a regular citizen that just decided to look beyond the obvious and see what's really happening. So why does it seem like our other leaders don't have an answer to any of this? Why are they acting like they're so powerless and they have I don't know, there's nothing we can do? Right now, our nation is under attack. Our government, our democracy, our constitution, everything is under attack. And people are sitting around acting as if they don't know what to do. Greed has taken over many of our leaders. I hate to say it. A lot of our leaders, they are getting paid, so they're okay with selling out democracy, because as long as I get paid, that's all that matters. For a moment, I want to give you the history behind the network state ideology that I mentioned in regards to Curtis Yarvin, the network state, how the tech elite are quietly testing out these things and have already tested it out. And what a world under corporate governments could really look like. So where we are leading, where we may be headed if it's unchecked and unchanged. This is what it is. So to really understand the network state, we have to look at where this anti-democratic ideology came from. And I've already stated it, but I'm going to sum it up again. So Curtis Yarvin suggested that the citizens hand over control to an intelligent CEO, someone who's unelected, unaccountable, and all powerful. People are protesting and say, we didn't vote for Elon, but you did. But you did. This is the playbook that they're going by. He don't care about being voted in because he is the CEO. CEOs don't get voted in. It says someone who is unelected, unaccountable, and all powerful. Why is this such a catchy thing among the tech people? Let's just say this. The reason why people in Silicon Valley and certain elite people are attracted to this idea is because the tech billionaires have lost faith in democracy. They see regulation and voting as ineffective. They believe the startup model, where one visionary leader with absolute authority is more effective than government. That's what they believe. So Yarvin's idea, pushed once a few years ago, would have seemed so odd and way off the wall, is now something that people in Silicon Valley love, and they're discussing in their boardroom. And his blogs are blogs that are highly recommended for their employees to read. You know, people like Till and Andreessen and Elon, on the other hand, they have bought fully into this idea, what Yarvin has presented, and they are actively building the infrastructure to make it real. They're actively doing what Yarvin has been talking about, lecturing about, blogging about. That's what's happening right now. So you still think that what I'm saying to you may be fictional or a theory? Let me just continue. So here are where it's already being tested. So what's currently happening in the States and overseas in different nations. So right now we currently have charter cities, where it's private cities in developing nations that are run by corporation under their own laws. Somewhat like the Slim City, but with a budget. That's kind of what's currently happening. So we currently have private cities in developing nations that are run by corporation under their own laws. Remember when Trump kept talking about the Panama Canal and that we need ownership of the Panama Canal? Everything that they state is part of this plan. It seems off the wall. Like, why do we need the Panama Canal? Let me explain exactly why he stated that. Because plans to build floating independent city in international waters free from government control is their idea, is part of the idea. So they want the Panama Canal so that they can build floating independent cities in international waters that will be free from government control. Okay. Places like Honduras, a private city where blockchain setups write the laws and run the courts. So they currently have this going on in Honduras. Silicon Valley, the private AI cities, is something that they want to do. They were trying to do in San Francisco, but they decided, okay, let's do it nationally. Since we have one of our boys, Vance, in office, let's see if we can just do nationally as opposed to just San Francisco. So Silicon Valley companies are buying up land in California as we speak. They're buying up land in California to create what they call smart cities that operate outside of public control. Smart cities are going to start being popping up, especially in California, that operates outside of public control. And oh yeah, don't forget X, which is formerly Twitter. Don't forget Twitter. Twitter is all part of the plan. He didn't just randomly buy this social network platform. So Twitter, a social platform, is slowly being re-engineered by Musk into an all-in-one digital state where with a payment system, social network, speech regulation, identity system, the building block of a digital government. That's what Twitter is. That's what he's trying to turn Twitter into a building block of digital government. All of what I've just said, once again, is public knowledge. There's documentation, and it's happening right now. Let's examine what would life look like in a network state? Because some of you all are probably curious, like, well, I mean, maybe it'll be better for me. Maybe it's not that bad. Maybe you're trying to just put fear in us. Let me just describe to you what they've already described. So imagine this. You live in a smart city. Everything runs on crypto. Your digital ID is tied to your health, your job, and your education. You don't vote for your leaders anymore. You subscribe to a term of service agreement. So you're not voting, you're just subscribing. You're constantly scored. And this is how you're scored, not just your credit score, where a lot of us are like, oh my God, my credit score is not the best. Imagine being scored on your behavior, being scored on your usefulness, being scored on your loyalty. So if you happen to be you disabled individual, or you have a child who's disabled, let's just say your child is disabled in some way, they will be scored based on their behavior, their usefulness, and their loyalty. So if your child is born a certain way and they can't control their behavior, they can't control that certain parts of their ability is hindered, they will be scored in a negative way. And this is similar to what Hitler did. Hitler not only killed Jews, he killed a lot of German children who were classified as disabled. If they had any kind of disability, any kind of hindrance, they went to the gas chambers as well. Also, if you happen to step out of line, some of us love to have our free speech and say, if you happen to step out of line, you're not just jailed in this smart city. You are locked out. What does locked out means? You are locked out of your money. You have no access to money anymore. You are locked out of your house, your home. You can't enter your house anymore. And you are locked out of access for food, because money is locked out. You have no more identity. You're pretty much erased and deleted. I'm not making this up. I wish I was. I wish everything I was reading was just fictional. This is happening. This is their plan. This is what they're trying to implement. So you can't just protest in the streets anymore. I know on April the 5th, there was a protest all over the states, but also internationally. That would not be allowed. You can't write to your senators. I know senators and representatives are being flooded with emails and everything else, phone calls. You can't do that no more, because there's no rights. You just gave up your rights. Only privileges granted by the CEO of your nation is what you can do. Only the privileges that they allow you can do. So it's no longer democratic. As much as people say democracy is broken and so much is wrong with it, I'd rather us fix it than go to this type of system, because this type of system, many of us would not survive under this type of system. This is not helping us as a nation, as a world. This is going to be very dangerous. And as scary as it sounds, imagine living in that. So let me continue to tell you about your citizenship in a network state. So in a network state, you're not a citizen with rights. You're a customer with a subscription plan. Everything is tech now. So you're not a citizen with rights anymore. You're now just a customer with subscription plan. And if you don't agree with the rules, You don't get kicked out of office. You are banned. You're not just kicked out. You are banned. Platform, denied access. I really want you to think about this. I don't know if any of you all have ever watched the series called Person of Interest. If you haven't, look it up, watch it, because that's exactly what they're trying to implement, similar or even worse. So please do your due diligence and understand that you might have not voted for this, but yeah, you did kind of vote for this, because it's been information that's open to the public for many years. This plan didn't come in motion just overnight. It's been in motion for many years now. So think about it. Your passport is now a digital token, okay? Your voting rights are based on how much you contribute to the network. Your health care depends on your data score. So I guess if you have certain kind of score, then you can't get health care. Your livelihood is tied to a private currency. Everything is ran by terms of service, not law. And unlike a democracy, there are no appeals. Once you click accept, when you join, that's it. All your rights are stripped away, and you're actually forced to do this, because if you don't, then there's no option for you. They're not creating an alternative where we can remain in a democratic system or join the network state. Our rights are being stripped away, and it's bigger than just, oh, I thought it was just going to be bad immigrants and criminals being deported. This is about all of us. So as this new system grows, you'll see what's going to end up happening is a split in society, the great unbalancing. Okay. So on one side, you're going to see the hyper digitalized network state of elites. I thought you was going to clean out the swamps in Washington. The elite is going to be ran by AI. It's going to be full of people who are wealthy, and they have this whole system that's geared to their lifestyle, to please them, to do whatever it is. So it's going to be a corporate law. And then on the other side, the people, many of us, I won't say the people, many of us who will be left behind. Many of us who live in rural areas. Many of us, there's not going to be any banks. There's no non-digital community. And we're going to be trying to survive without access to the basic services that we need. I really want you to think about this. What is being proposed right now is not about open access for all. It's about building walls within our society, within our nations, that's going to lock certain groups of people out. And many of us will fall into that group. There's one more layer to talk about in the network state, and that is the digital colonization that is happening now. Not about to happen, but that's happening now. Digital colonization. So the network state is being tested on poor nations in Latin America, in Africa, in Southeast Asia, long before it's now coming on to the US and Europe. They tested it there first. They're testing it there first. They're still testing and still have these things in operation. Why was that okay with these nations? Because governments in financial crisis are willing to sell off their land and law to tech investors in exchange for a shot of economic stability, because they're getting money. Their governments are getting money. Okay? This is the new face of empire. Not flags, not guns, but cold, capital, and crypto wallets. Crypto wallets. By the way, my next video, I'm going to do a part 2 to this. I'm going to focus on crypto, and I'm going to focus on what we keep hearing about the power of the US dollar is losing its power. I'm going to break all of that down because you have to understand what's happening so you won't get left behind. So I'm going to focus on crypto a whole lot in my next video, the part 2 of this. So we're watching a new system emerge where the richest people on earth are creating nations of their own. Of their own. That's why they're all sitting on stage on Inauguration Day, because they know what's in it for them. While the rest of us are being conditioned to believe, oh, we're trying to give you back your freedom. Oh, we're trying to reveal all this government waste. Oh, aren't we the best because look what we've discovered. And the whole time they're stripping you of everything that the world envy of us was our freedom. Here's the scary part. Once tech controls infrastructures, there may be no way to fight back. Once they are in control of the infrastructure of our society, of our freedom, there may be no way to fight back because it's going to be too late. Think about your grandma, your grandpa, and your aunties and uncles who don't know nothing about tech. What are they going to do? Think about the rural areas that don't have, access to technology and electricity and different things like that. What are they going to do? Think about it. You yourself don't even know computer that well. What are you going to do? There's going to be no way to fight back if we sit back and allow them to do what they're doing. And they're moving swiftly. They're moving swiftly because they know they're on a time frame. Your speech, your money, your mobility, all are going to be programmable. All are going to be controlled. And once it's controlled and programmed, it's irreversible. It's irreversible. That's the way that they're setting it up. We currently in this country, in this nation, and this world, we're at a crossroad. The fall of democracy isn't coming with tanks and war and all the different things that we think about how they conquer different nations. It's not coming through that way. The enemy is too smart. He's not going to come through the same way. The way that is coming to cause democracy to fall is through apps. It's through computer. It's through technology. It's through AI. It's coming with digital billionaires selling your freedom while quietly building digital prisons. That's what's happening. They're selling your freedom and they're quietly building digital prisons as we speak. But here's the thing. I know all of this has been so heavy and weighty information because I really want us to wake up and think. I know you're used to watching stuff for entertainment and laugh and watching TikToks and all these short videos, but this video is designed to wake you up. Like I said, I need us to wake up. This is not fictional, what I'm sharing with you. There's still time to resist. How can we resist? First of all, understand what the network state really is about. If you feel like I'm making it up, do your own research. Don't let billionaires tell you that it's going to be this utopia and this paradise, because that's the bait. You have to read the fine print to understand that, oh yes, like those medicine commercials. Oh, it's going to give you this. You're going to be able to do all this. But then they quickly read all the things that could happen, side effects. Read the side effects of this utopia that you're trying to be sold. Question power. This is not the time to have blind loyalty. Blind loyalty is dangerous. And a lot of us will read history, especially the Holocaust history, and say, how in the world did German people allow this to happen because they didn't question power. They didn't push back. They didn't resist. Support public systems. Fight for public infrastructure and public accountabilities. We have to hold these leaders accountable. It's not okay to just say you can share our government secrets and top war strategies and things put on an app that anybody can have access to and nothing happens to you. That's not okay. Organize locally. We must resist and unite as a community. Real resistance begin in the real world. So you have to get to know each other. That's why God has told me that it's time for us to mobilize. And that's why I'm doing my best to use my voice, to use whatever platform I have to make sure that my neighbors are good, my friends are good, the community is good. Everybody who needs help have access to it. I'm not limited to just, oh, my church, oh, just Black people, oh, just women. It's for all of us because it's time for all of us to understand that we're fighting a demon that's going to be bigger than any one of us can conquer. This isn't about being anti-tech because technology is necessary. We see the benefit of technology. It's about who controls the future of technology and who gets left behind. A lot of us are going to get left behind, and we have to fight for those who don't have voices now. Those who, like I said, some of us have children with different disabilities. We have to fight for them. We have to fight for our neighbors who came to this country for a better life and now are being treated as criminals, and they're not criminals. We have to fight for them. The fight for the future isn't going to be a war of weapons, like I stated before. It's going to be a war of narrative, a war of network, and a war of power. Even now, we have some of the most disqualified people who are trying to create a narrative that's not the truth. It's not the truth. This young father who was arrested and sent to El Salvador, who, by the way, our government is okay with giving them, I think it's like $6 million to hold people who are innocent. And then we overhear our presidents telling the president of El Salvador, yeah, you might have to build more because we're going to send more, the homegrowns, we're going to send more over there. They have plans for us. That's not good. This man cannot be trusted. You need to wake up. I am going to continue to be the voice that I have, the voice that I have for those who may not have voices right now. We currently have citizens who are arrested, and in what is really the modern day consecration camp is what they're trying to create. We have an individual who they claim is a gang member, but he has tattoos just honoring his father and his mother as king and queens in his life. And I'm going to put his picture on the screen for you to understand that. Does this look like a gang member? Does this look like a gang member? This is not a gang member. Another gentleman who is a food delivery guy. All of us are doing Uber Eats and all these different side jobs. He was delivering food and was arrested and sent to a prison for doing nothing. He was working. He wasn't a gang member. Another one who is a father, another father that a lot of people may not be talking about, but he was arrested as well because they claim his tattoo was gang affiliated. No, he was supporting his soccer team. He is a soccer fan. And he had a tattoo that represented his soccer team. You cannot tell me that this is okay. How is this okay with you? Because it's not directly affecting you. It's not okay. We have to use our voice. And then the gentleman that was arrested and his wife is on the news pleading for the return of her husband. And then you have other people on different news propaganda channels talking about he was a criminal, he was this, he had no criminal record. The only thing he had was like a speeding ticket, something that many of us have multiple amount. A speeding ticket for 10 years. All he has was a speeding ticket, one. Come on, people, please. A lot of you all claim that you voted for Trump because of your Christian beliefs and values would not allow you to vote for other people that you felt weren't Christian. But what Christian values does this behavior represent? His behavior never represented Christian values, but somehow people are trying to make him be something he's not. He has put people in office who do not represent or serve the true and living God. He has men around him who are proud to enforce the retribution thing that Trump desires. Retribution. Not because these people are criminals or they did anything against the American citizens, but because they personally offended Trump. Because they personally went against him. Then he has assigned this gentleman to do his dirty deeds. And even recently, this President Trump that y'all claim is such a Christian signed a mandate for 2 individuals who happen to be Republicans, mandate for them to go after them, arrest them, or whatever the case may be, because they opposed him in a certain way. One individual he is mad at is because the man wrote a book about him. The other individual, he's mad at them because the other individual refused to acknowledge that the 2020 election was stolen, was rigged, because Trump didn't win. This is an individual who is okay with going and talking junk about everybody, but his skin is so thin that you need to now go after anybody that said or did anything to you or checked you in any way or didn't allow you to have your way. So now I'm coming after you. This is dangerous. This is not about politics anymore. It's about him. People, please wake up. My question to my fellow Christ followers, if you claim to be a Christ follower, that blindly support this man, what is it that you are trying so hard not to see and acknowledge? What is it that you're trying so hard to prove to the point that you can't even have a conversation with anyone who opposes this man? You get so enraged. This is not normal. This is cult-like behavior. That you feel like one person on earth can do no wrong, even though the record showed that everything about them has been wrong. Everything. The thing that really upsets me too is I saw an interview recently, and one of the main guy who is over the retribution thing, misquoting and misrepresenting scripture is happening a lot with certain leaders who claim to be Christians. He turned to the reporter and said, an eye for an eye. That's Leviticus, read it. So that was a justification for his hate to go after people who didn't do nothing wrong, but just because they disagree with his dear leader. But I'm wondering if this individual ever read Leviticus 19:33-34 that states, when a foreigner resides among you in your land, do not mistreat them. The foreigner residing among you must be treated as your native born. Love them as yourself, for you were foreigners in Egypt. I am the Lord your God. Don't pick and choose and quote scriptures that you don't want to live by. Live by the whole book or nothing at all. The Bible says to love people. Don't mistreat them. Why are you okay with voting for somebody who promotes mistreatment of certain groups of people? It's not okay. It's not okay. I have heard quite a few pastors and Christians incorrectly refer to Trump as Cyrus in the Bible. Oh, he's the Cyrus of the Bible. He is not the Cyrus of the Bible, because King Cyrus was a Persian emperor who freed the Jewish people from Babylon captivity, allowing them to return to Jerusalem and rebuild the second temple. God moved the heart of King Cyrus, who really wasn't a Christian, a believer of Christ. He believed in idol worship, but because God is all powerful and all knowing, he moved the heart of this pagan man to free the people. Trump is not Cyrus. He is not trying to give freedom to anyone except they believe and are loyal to him and worship him. Trump is not Cyrus. You want to know what Trump is more like? Trump is more like Saul. Trump is more like Saul, who enslaved the people. So we have a person who doesn't show any fruit of the Bible, any fruit of the faith. He proudly and will say so arrogantly, yeah, because of the terrors I put, we have nations, and you wouldn't believe how many people are calling to kiss my ASS. The leader of our nation, who so-called claim to be Christian, is bragging about people crawling on their knees to what? Kiss the ring to get what they want. Is that about the U.S. or is that about him? So I'm going to read why I said that he's more like Saul. 1 Samuel 8 in the Bible says, the prophet Samuel warned the Israelites about what would happen if they insisted on having a king to rule over them like the other nations. Warning. We're receiving a lot of warnings. People not listening. Here's the core of Samuel's warning. This is what the prophet Samuel's warning was all about. So 1 Samuel 8, 10 through 18. Samuel told the people that if they choose a king, he will take their sons and make them slaves in his army and work his fields. Number one, he's going to take their sons, make them slaves, and force them to work in his army and his fields. Number two, he would take their daughters to become perfume makers, cooks, and bakers. Their daughters would now become domestic hires, tread wife. He would take the best of their fields, their vineyard and olive grove, and give them to his officials. He's taking all your stocks and bonds and your retirement funds and giving it to his officials, to his friends, to his family members. He would take 1/10 of their grain and livestock. He's going to take your money. All of y'all was like, yeah, I voted for him because he said that we could keep our tips. Yeah. Wait on that one. The people, the people themselves would become his servant, essentially his slaves. That's what they're trying to do with the dictator CEO method. And when they finally cry out because of the king they chose, God would not answer them. Well, I thought God was loving. I thought he's a genie in a bottle and all I got to do is just call on him. Yeah, but you made choices that God warned you, but you still did it. So God will not answer you. So despite this strong warning, the people still demanded a king. So God told Samuel to give them what they wanted. And Saul became the first king of Israel. If you don't learn from history, you are doomed to repeat it. Is this what you voted for? Whatever happens to us will be a direct consequences of our choices. Whatever happens to us, not just a select few, will be a direct consequences of our choices. The blame will not be on God. Don't you dare turn on God and blame him. Well, where's God? And what all this suffering is going on? Whatever happens to us will be a direct consequence of our choices. Many people voted for Trump because they were okay with other people's suffering, not realizing that what is about to happen, what is currently happening, is that we all will suffer. We all will suffer. The network state that I spoke about is more than a thought experiment. It's not just a thought or something imaginary. It is a quiet coup. A coup trying to take over our nation. If you don't wake up now, we may soon find ourselves living in a world we never voted for, governed by corporations that see us not as citizens, but as users. The network state is coming faster than most people realize it. That's why they're moving swiftly. It's happening faster than we even realize it. So we have a choice. Do we want to live under a CEO-ran network state that's built on surveillance of everything that we do? I know we're currently being being watched and different things are happening, but this will be built on surveillance that's obvious. It's going to be built on inequality that's even worse than right now, and it's going to be built on digital control. Do we want to live in that type of society, or do we want to reclaim the tools of technology? Because technology isn't evil, just like money isn't evil, is who use it and how they use it. So do we want to reclaim the tools of technology and use them to empower real people in real community with real rights? We don't have to surrender all of our rights. The future is being built right now. The future is being built right now. You can help to shape the future, or you can let it be built for you without your voice. Which one are you going to choose? I know I've shared a lot with you today. I'm hoping that you will understand that this is not coming from a place of malice. You might have heard the passion in my voice. It's because I'm frustrated with the mindset and the things that it's like we're slowly being sent to the slaughter. Or let me use the analogy of the frog in the water that's slowly being boiled to death. That's what's happening to us. And we have to wake up. If you're tired of billionaires playing God, you need to wake up. I want you to support channels like this that's going to give you the real deal information. I don't have no hidden agenda. I don't have nobody paying me to do this, where a lot of these YouTubers and bloggers, they're being paid to say what they're saying because they're trying to brainwash society. They're part of the propaganda machine. I'm not being paid. So in order for me as a small content creator to stay afloat in a system that's about to take all of us under, I need you to hit like. Simple things. Hit the like button. It doesn't cost you anything. Subscribe if you felt that the information that I've given added value, and for you to stay informed, because our way of communication is going to be altered very soon, sooner than you think. Share this information with people so that they understand that democracy truly was on the ballot. And that if they value democracy and don't want to see it die, and this digital age to take over, that it's time for us to stay informed and call out things. As I stated, I want you to stay tuned to part 2 of this video. Part 2 is going to be where I explain crypto. What is crypto? And how the US dollar has lost its value, And also I'm going to talk about the Trump meme coin, which was launched on January 17th, the day of inauguration, and the upcoming token unlocks, which is scheduled for April the 17th. April the 17th, 2025. There's more coming in regards to the shakeup of the stock market, the loss of the US dollar and the stocks and bonds and what's happening in our community. So it's very important that you stay aware. And once again, mark your calendar for our next face-to-face for May the 3rd. So another announcement that I'm not sure if I stated earlier, but I'm going to restate it, is that moving forward, our face-to-face meetings will be the first Saturday of each month at 1 p.m. I am working on a newsletter. I plan on sending out the newsletter on a monthly basis, and it's going to be a lot of important information for you to prepare and just be in the known and just understand what's going on, just having things broken down a little bit, because the media is not going to break things down for you. But I want to make sure that you're empowered with information. And go ahead and, like I said, go ahead and like and share and subscribe, because that's going to help the algorithm to keep my video moving. And also commenting on the video also helps as well. So listen, stay tuned. Part 2, I'm hoping to post it next week. Stay tuned. We are in a state of emergency. It's a call to action, unity of purpose. It's time for us to go. The power with the people is more than the people in power, according to Cory Booker. Power of the people is more than the people in power. Don't get fooled to think that we don't have power. We still have power if we unite and we refuse and we resist. I love you all and have a wonderful day.